Dani and Mr. Monkey here from the Pleasant Hills Public Library, and we're so excited that you're here with us today for another virtual family PJ story time. So I hope you're all comfy and cozy at home in your PJs. Maybe you got a stuffy to love on or a blanket. We're going to have so much fun. We're going to read some stories and sing some songs, and then at the end, I have a fun craft that you can do, and we have all the supplies available as a take-home kit in our lobby, which is pretty cool. Now, before we can get to our stories and our songs, we need to get those wiggles out, don't you think? So I hope you will join me and Mr. Monkey in singing our hello song. We're going to start by waving our arms nice and big, but be careful. Oh, sorry, Mr. Monkey. Don't bonk the person sitting next to you. Are you ready, friends? Hello, everybody, and how are you? How are you? How are you? Hello, everybody, and how are you? How are you today? Terrific! Let's clap our hands. Hello, everybody, and clap your hands. Clap your hands. Clap your hands. Hello, everybody, and clap your hands. Clap your hands today. Fantastic! Let's stomp those feet. Hello, everybody, and stomp your feet. Stomp your feet. Stomp your feet. Hello, everybody, and stomp your feet. Stomp your feet today. Yay! Very good. Now, friends, do you think we can stomp our feet super fast? Yeah? You want to try? All right, let's do it on the count of 3. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Fast! Whoa! Freeze! Oh, that was so fast. Good job. And now let's do the opposite. What is the opposite of fast? That's right. It's slow. So let's go slow motion. Very good. Now, friends, do you think we can stomp our feet big and loud? Yeah? All right, so last time we counted up to 3. This time, let's count down from 3. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Big and loud! Whoa, freeze! Oh, that was so big and so loud. Great job. So now let's do the opposite. What is the opposite of big and loud? You're so smart. Small and quiet. So let's do some tiptoe stomping. Very good, my friends. Very good. So tonight, my friends, we will be reading some stories based on Aesop's fables. Aesop was believed to live over 2,000 years ago, and many scholars believe that he was a slave in ancient Greece who made up stories for his masters. But because he lived so very long ago, nobody knows for sure. But what we do know is that the fables that are associated with Aesop still live on today and are still relevant. His fables are morality tales, meaning that they're a story that's supposed to teach us a lesson. Tonight we will be reading Lousy, Rotten, Stinkin' Grapes by Margie Pallanti and illustrated by Barry Moser and read with permission from Simon & Schuster Publishing. This story is based on the fable Fox and the Grapes. In that fable, a fox is wandering along when he stumbles across a vineyard, and he sees way up high some beautiful, juicy grapes. And he decides he wants to have them for lunch. So he jumps, and 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 he jumps, but he can't reach the grapes. And so the fox decides that he didn't really want the grapes after all. They're probably sour. And the lesson there is that it's easy to scorn or make fun of things that you can't get. So let's read the story that's based on that fable. Fox eyed a bunch of tantalizing grapes hanging from a vine growing high in a tree. "Oh, those juicy morsels are for me," he said with a grin. The problem was, Fox was only so high, and the grapes were so high up. No matter, said he. I am sly, clever, smart. After all, I am a fox. And he made a plan. See, add this to that, multiply that to this, subtract here from there, carry the 2 minus the 1, and voila! Grapes! Hop, skip, jump, flying leap, and no grapes. Fox climbed out from the thicket and brushed off his coat. Perhaps a bit of a boost is needed. But where to get a boost? Grunt, grunt, grunt. Fox turned, and he grinned. Why, Bear, old buddy, I say, do you like grapes? Grapes? Said Bear. Do I? I think I do. I think I do. Yep, I do. Excellent. Look here and listen. Here's the plan, explained Fox. You stand here, and I will stand on your head there, and on the count of 3 you give a bit of a boost, and voila! Grapes. Bear looked at the plan. He looked at the grapes. He looked at the tree. He stared at his big front paws, and he thought, you know there, Fox, I'm thinking maybe I could just wrap my paws... Interrupted Fox. Bear, my dear dim buddy, your job is brawn, not brain. You leave the thinking to me, because after all, I am sly, clever, smart. I'm the fox. I know how to get the grapes. Bear shrugged. If you say so. Bear stood here, and Fox climbed up and stood on top of Bear's head there, and Fox counted. 1, 2, 3, and no grapes. Fox brushed off his coat and straightened his nose. Maybe a little more lift, thrust, and oomph is needed here. Bear shrugged. If you say so. Now where to find oomph? Pat, slap, pat, slap, pat, slap. Fox peered down at the pond, and he grinned. Who do you think is there? Why, Beaver, dear pal, I say, do you like grapes? Grapes, said Beaver. Oh, yes, indeedy, I do. Excellent. Look and listen. Here's the plan, explained Fox. Bear stands here. You stand on Bear's head there. I stand on your tail. And on the count of 3, Bear gives a boost as you give an oomph, which brings me there, and voila, grapes. Beaver looked at the plan. He looked at the grapes. And he looked at the tree. Then he tapped his front tooth, and he thought, Fox, I'm a-thinking if I just started chewing on that... Interrupted Fox. Beaver, my dentally challenged chum. Now, you just mind the thing. Leave all the thinking to me. After all, I am the fox. Sly, clever, smart. I know how to get the grapes. Beaver shrugged. If you say so. Bear stood here, and Beaver stood on Bear's head there, and Fox stood on Beaver's tail. 1, 2, 3, and no grapes. Fox climbed out of the brambles. I just need an inch or 2 more scooch. Fox measured this. He weighed that. He turned around and grinned. Why, Porcupine, you short scooch of a fellow, do you like grapes? Grapes? Said Porcupine. I suppose I do enjoy a grape or 2 now and then. Excellent. Look and listen. Here's the plan, explained Fox. Bear stands here. Beaver stands there. You stand on Beaver's tail. I stand on you. And on the count of 3, Beaver boost a Beaver oomph. And while you scooch, which brings me there. And voila! Grapes. Porcupine looked at the plan. He looked at the grapes. And he looked at his back full of quills. Excuse me, Fox, but I have a suggestion. Perhaps if I just point my quills... Interrupted Fox. Porcupine, my little friend, let us all not get prickly. You just be a scooch and leave the ideas to me. After all, I am the fox. Sly, clever, smart. I know how to get the grapes. Porcupine shrugged. If you say so. Bear stood here. Beaver stood on Bear's head there. Porcupine stood on Beaver's tail. Fox stood very carefully on Porcupine's back. 1, 2, 3, and no grapes. Fox rubbed his feet. He pulled a bramble from his tail. He uncurled his whiskers. What might be helpful is a wee catch and a swing, said Fox with a pencil and eraser. Yes, catch and swing should definitely do it. Beaver looked at Bear, who looked at Porcupine, and the 3 shrugged. If you say so. Fox spied 2 tiny eyes peeking through a bush. Ah, Possum, my dear friend, do you like grapes? Me? Possum whispered shyly. Why, yes, I do like grapes. Thank you for asking. I like grapes very much. Fox grinned. Oh, excellent. Look and listen. Here is the plan. Bear stands here. Beaver stands on Bear's head there. Porcupine stands on Beaver's tail. I stand on Porcupine. You stand on me. So on and on and on and on, etc., etc., etc. What lifts you, whose tail curls around here, then swings back to me, who I grab, ending up there, and voila! Grapes. Possum stared at the grapes. She stared at the branch. And then she started to plan. Pardon me, said Possum, but it all seems so confusing and complicated. Perhaps if I interrupted Fox. Possum, my pet. Now, don't worry those few little hairs on your extremely unattractive head. Nothing to fret over and faint dead away. Trust me, my dear, after all, I am the fox. I am the only one here who is sly, clever, and smart. I know how to get the grapes. Possum blinked. If you say so. And so, Bear stood here, Beaver stood there, Porcupine stood on Beaver's tail, Fox stood carefully on Porcupine, and Possum stood on Fox, ready to swing into action. 1, 2, 3, and boost! Scooch, swing! No grapes. Oh, what you doing? asked Skunk. Oh, blast that bunch of fruit, growled Fox, crawling out from under. There is simply no possible way to get those grapes, and that is that. Well, Possum looked at Porcupine, who looked at Beaver, who looked at Bear. I can run up the tree and toss them down, said Possum. I can aim and shoot them down, said Porcupine. I can cut them down, said Beaver. I could give the tree a shake, said Bear. Fox glared. Oh, really? Then why didn't one of you say something before? Well, Possum spoke up, after all, you are the fox. Sly, said Porcupine. Clever, said Beaver. Smart, said Bear. Very, very smart. Fox turned with a huff and a sniff. Well, do as you wish. I, for one, wouldn't think of eating those lousy, rotten, stinking grapes now, even if I could. They're probably sour anyway. If you say so. And now, friends, let's sing a fun song about foxes. So this goes to the tune of If You're Happy and You Know It. We're going to pretend to be foxes. So we're changing it to If You're a Fox and You Know It. And we're going to start by swishing our tails. Are you ready? If you're a fox and you know it, swish your tail, swish, swish. If you're a fox and you know it, swish your tail, swish, swish. If you're a fox and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're a fox and you know it, swish your tail, swish, swish. And now, let's wiggle our noses. If you're a fox and you know it, wiggle your nose. If you're a fox and you know it, wiggle your nose. If you're a fox and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're a fox and you know it, wiggle your nose. Very good. And now, we're going to show our claws. If you're a fox and you know it, show your claws. If you're a fox and you know it, show your claws. If you're a fox and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're a fox and you know it, show your claws. Very good. One more verse. So a fox makes a sound like this. Yip, yip. So we're going to do that for our last one. Are you ready? If you're a fox and you know it, say yip, 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 yip. If you're a fox and you know it, say yip, 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 yip. If you're a fox and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're a fox and you know it, say yip, 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 yip. Yay! Good singing, friends. And next, friends, we are going to read a version of one of the more famous Aesop fables. We're going to read Lion and Mouse, written by Gerald Bategro and illustrated by Raphael Yocking, and read today with permission of Groundwork Books. In the original fable, a lion is sleeping when a little mouse crawls over its head and wakes the lion up. The lion roars and catches the mouse in his paw. The mouse says, "Oh, please, lion, please don't eat me." And the lion says, "I'm going to have you for lunch." And the mouse says, No, please don't eat me. Maybe someday I could help you. Well, the lion thinks this is very funny indeed. Some mouse can't help a lion. He's too small and weak. But the lion decides to let the mouse go. A little while later, the lion is walking through the jungle when he gets caught in a trap of ropes and lifted up, and he is stuck there. The little mouse from before comes wandering through the jungle and finds the lion. He says, "Oh, lion, I am here. I can help you." The lion says, "Oh, no, you are too small. Leave me. You cannot help me." And the mouse says, "Oh, I may be small, but I have strong teeth." And so the mouse chews at the rope and chews and chews and chews and chews and chews, and the lion can break free. And the moral of the story is sometimes the weak can be strong, and even if you're small, you can be mighty. And so now let's read a different version of that story. In the woods there lived a very lovely lion who was like a son, and a small mouse who was a busybody and a glutton. One day the mouse marched into the lion's house without being invited. Being well-mannered, he wiped his feet on the lion's mane. Before he could leave without saying goodbye, the lion grabbed him. "Where are you going, breakfast?" the lion asked him. "Breakfast?" said the mouse. "Don't eat me today, please. I'm off to see my girlfriend." "Someone as small and ugly as you couldn't have a girlfriend." "Oh, but I do, and if you let me go, I might be able to return the favor." "Ha ha 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 ha!" laughed the lion, as only lions can. "Ha! Such an insignificant little animal as you's going to return the favor. Oh, get out!" And the mouse ran away. Insignificant means being of no use or importance, and is the most insulting thing you could say about a mouse. The next day, the lion went out for a walk and found a very handsome ham hanging from a tree. It was a hunter's trap, and he fell into it. In those days, people were very foolish and hunted lions. As the lion was crying, the mouse appeared, but the lion didn't recognize him because all mice looked alike to him. "It's me, Mr. Lion," the mouse said. "Yesterday's mouse." "And what do you want?" I can rescue you from the trap." The lion felt like laughing again, but it didn't seem like such a good idea. The mouse bit through the net that was covering the lion and freed him. The lion was astonished. He'd been rescued by someone so small. I told you I'd return the favor," exclaimed the mouse before he fled into the bushes. One rainy day, the lion met the mouse again. With his immense paw, he protected him from the rain. "Another favor?" the mouse said with annoyance. "Now I'm going to have to do another favor for you, and then you have to do another for me, and then another, and another, and another, and another." "Enough," said the lion. "I'm doing it because I don't want you to get wet." And that is how they began to be good to each other. I like in this picture the mouse is pretending to be a lion. Very ferocious. These weren't favors. They didn't do this because they expected to get something back. They ended up living together in the lion's house because there was more room there than in the mouse's house. One day, the lion went up very, very close to the mouse to see him better. "You know, seeing you so up close, friend mouse, you aren't not at all ugly." And they lived together nicely the rest of their days in the woods they loved so much. The lion walked through the bushes with his good mouse sitting on his head. So that story has a little bit more of an ending than the original Aesop's fable. I'd like to think that mice and lions could be friends. What do you think? One of the most famous Aesop fables is The Tortoise and the Hare. Now, we will not be reading that story tonight because we've read it in some of our other virtual programs. But I thought it would be fun to do a fun little rhyme about turtles in honor of the tortoise and the hare. First, though, I would like to teach you the American Sign Language sign for turtle. Start with your dominant hand and make a thumbs up. Now take your thumb and lay it down so it's laying on top of your fist. Take your other hand and place it on top like a turtle shell, and then wiggle your thumb. And that is the ASL sign for turtle. We are going to do our rhyme 2 times. So if you're unfamiliar, you can listen the first time and then join in the second. But if you know it, join in both times. Are you ready? Got your turtle? I had a little turtle and he lived in a box. He swam in the water and he climbed up the rocks. Well, he snapped at a mosquito and he snapped at a flea. He snapped at a minnow and he snapped at me. Well, he caught that mosquito and he caught that flea. He caught that minnow, but he didn't catch me. Very good. And now that you've heard it, you can join in with me for our second rendition. Got your turtle? I had a little turtle and he lived in a box. He swam in the water and he climbed up the rocks. Well, he snapped at a mosquito and he snapped at a flea. He snapped at a minnow and he snapped at me. Well, he caught that mosquito and he caught that flea. He caught that minnow, but he didn't catch me. Very good, friends. Very good. I have one more fable that I'd like to share with you today, friends, and it comes from the 12 Tales from Aesop, retold and illustrated by Eric Carle, and read today with permission from Penguin Random House. The story I'm going to share with you is called The Fox and the Crane. A stingy fox once invited a crane to his house for dinner. He served a delicious meal, but put it on very flat plates. The poor crane, with her long neck, could not get at the food at all. She turned her neck this way and that way, but it didn't help. The food always slipped away from her beak. The fox, pretending not to see the crane's trouble, gobbled up all the food in no time. Of course, the crane was still hungry after the table had been cleared. "Oh, dear Miss Crane," said the fox as the crane was leaving, "I hope that you've enjoyed your meal. Let's get together again soon." Well, the crane nodded her head politely, but she did not reply. However, soon afterwards, the crane invited the fox over for her house to dinner, and she too served a delicious meal, but this time in a very tall, thin goblet. Of course, the fox couldn't get at the food. He tried this way and that way, but it didn't help. His food was down at the bottom of the goblet, and no matter how he tried, he couldn't reach it. In the meantime, the crane put her long beak down into her tall, thin goblet and easily ate up her meal. This time it was the fox who was still hungry after the table had been cleared. "Dear Mr. Fox," said the crane as the fox was leaving, "I hope that you've enjoyed your meal. Let's get together again soon." But the embarrassed fox never called on the crane. So, my friends, what do you think the moral of that story is? As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we do have a craft kit that goes along with tonight's program that you can pick up free of charge in our lobby whenever we're open, while supplies last. Our craft kit includes supplies to make your very own fox handprint puppet. It has a pre-cut fox head, a piece of orange paper that you can trace your hand and then cut it out, 2 googly eyes, a white crayon so you can add those fun details to your fox, and a popsicle stick. There's also instructions in case you're curious how to put it all together. And then you'll have your own fox. I wonder if this fox will be able to catch the grapes. All right, my friends, I hope you've enjoyed our virtual family PJ story time all about Aesop's tales. If you would like to read more of Aesop's fables, come on into the library. We're open to the public now, and we would be happy to help you find the book or movie or music CD or puzzle that is right for you. And now, though, it's time to say goodbye. So before we do that, let's look around and find somebody or something to hug. And I hope you'll join me in singing our goodbye song the more we get together. The more we get together, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. For your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. Bye, friends. Have a good night, and I'll see you real soon.